Now, before watching this video, some of you social justice warriors, you keyboard heroes and, you know, OSHA wannabes, yeah, we know. Dad's not wearing a hard hat. Kenny's not wearing a hard hat. And I left my hard hat in my diesel truck this morning because I usually wear a hard hat. And I usually wear chaps when I'm cutting. I don't have my chaps on today. So before you go getting all offended and upset and crying, just save your comments. We know. And there's always somebody that'll comment. So enjoy the video. It's a good one today. See ya. Saturday morning, 18th. I think it's the 18th of February. We're cutting walnut out here on this big job this morning. We don't have a skidder out here yet. It'll be out here later today, but I'm going ahead of the guys. I'm barking trees with the axe. These trees are on this creek, and this creek gets pretty wild. This creek, when it floods, all this bottom gets underwater. I've seen it several times, and later on we'll see some debris up here in the tree limbs way high, and that shows you how high the creek gets. So this was part of a double tree. It had one little prong growing off of it, which is right there, but that's a pretty big walnut there. That's a pretty good sized tree, and the one they're cutting on now is a little bigger than that. I'm a few trees ahead barking. So which with trees like this, it's not hard for me to stay too far ahead because it takes a little more time to cut these and get them down right. So I'm going through barking everything ahead of the guys, and they're coming behind me cutting. But you can see, man, that's probably 35 foot of log there, maybe a little more, but got some size, got a good 10-foot log in it. It's a big job, so let's go down here and let's take a look at this other one real quick. Here's that other prong of that double, which it's a good size lumber log. So let's go down here and check out the other. This is some really good creek bottom timber aside from the walnut we're cutting. That's a softer silver maple, what we call it. There's several of these silver maple growing down through here. Some really good ash. We usually cut a lot of ash and maple. This winter's probably been one of the slowest winters we've had for cutting ash and maple. We just haven't had any jobs come up with really much on it. It's funny how it goes in spurts sometimes. You'll be cutting, you might not cut one area for years, and all of a sudden you get flooded with calls from that area. Or there'll be time it seems like we don't cut a lot of white oak, or just like this ash and maple, and all of a sudden it's like they open the gates on us. I might get 10 calls tonight about ash and maple now that I've said something, who knows. Here's a little tree that hung up, which is cutting. This is just it's a high grade lumber log. It might have a little small shipper in it, but it's good for trees like that to hang up, I think, because then we can kind of pull them down with a grapple skidder and kind of control how hard they hit. Now, this behemoth here, that's a big tree. We actually we put a wedge in it and brought it down. It's got just a little spot here. It was a root where a root come up, and that goes in about 4 inches, so no harm, no foul there. It's pretty sappy. It's a little sappier than I thought it'd be. There it goes. Yeah, so it's a little sappy right here, but man, you can see the size of this tree. Just a monstrosity. Big tree. It'll be, you know, that first log, it'll probably be, I'm guessing 28 inches up here, probably 12, 28, veneer cut, and a whole bunch of lumber in the top of it. So let's gather up our tools and stuff here, and we got a few more to cut on down the creek, so let's go get them. Like a beacon of light. That is like a lighthouse. I look at this tree and I just envision myself being out on the sea, and that there is a lighthouse. That is the biggest tree, and this will stand a timber right here. Now there's some other good walnuts we're getting ready to cut too that have got some size right here, but that thing is just a monstrosity. That's the biggest walnut tree I've seen in quite a while. That's the biggest one we've cut in a long time as far as diameter. in size, the length, the sheer length of it, the height. That is a big tree. That's going to have over 30 feet of veneer log in it. 30 feet of perfect, clean log. And it's going to be up there in the size too. That's what's amazing. Just the sheer size of it. And like I said, you can see that thing. Oh, there goes one. And we had to cut that one first. Yeah, nice and easy. Now we had to cut that one first. When you get to cutting trees like this, it's like playing a game of chess. We fell that one first because this big one's going to want to fall back that way. Well, you really got to watch which trees you cut and fall when you're cutting these big diameter walnut in close proximity. So we got that one down. It looks like it cut off incredible. And now I'm going to go over here and start barking this big boy, and we're going to get it on the ground. Let's go do it. We'll do a quick little history lesson on this deal here. There used to be a different cattle company that owned this piece of ground here years ago. I think my dad said he cut the walnut off this farm close to 40 years ago. And these trees were small then. There goes one right there. Okay. Couldn't ask for a better landing with that big crotch in it. What a shot. But these trees weren't all that big 40 years ago. And you can see how they've grown now into what they are. Dad's getting ready to cut a good one there on the bank. Kenny's down there getting ready to top that one that just fell. And over here across the way, there are just a multitude of small walnut that are growing. And just like this little tree here out here on the creek bank. And this is going to be a good tree one of these days, but we're going to leave it. Ain't going to mess with it. Let him grow. There's a few more scattered here in this low bottom. But we are going to go ahead and take these bigger ones. Funny thing, you know, it's my dad's 72 and said he cut this off 40 years ago. And, you know, the three of us, we always talk about timber and managing timber, and down the road in a few years it'll be good timber and we'll come back and cut it. Well, you know, in this day and age, there's no guarantees on anything, especially your life or if you're going to get to cut the timber the next go around. But like on some of these smaller trees, you know, my dad said he wouldn't be here to worry about it the next time they're cut, which I don't know, at the rate he's going, I'd say about 92, he might still be running that chainsaw cutting logs. He never ceases to amaze me every day. I'm about 2 trees ahead of him right now on the barking, so luckily, because I need a breather every now and then. That barking those trees with that axe, that'll wear a guy out. And for those of you that don't know why we bark them, I'll show you here. We go around and I take that axe right there and I cut into this bark, because when the creek gets up, it just washes dirt and sand all through this bark. And if you don't do that, your saw will be dull in no time. So we bark every tree in these creek bottoms before we cut them. That way the chain stays sharp and we don't get to cutting crooked. It just makes our job a lot easier. I think it's about to come down. He was clipping the ears a minute ago. Oh. Yeah, there he goes, clipping the ears. It's fun to watch. Man, would you just look at that hog right there? That is a champion log. Beast. Let's go down here real quick. Look at these because we're about to wrap it up for today. Man, that's a hero there too. Look at that. Man, just slick, dark colored, tight bark. Got this hog down here. Oh god, that was hard to cut. It's hard to bark too. Got one right up there. Look at that. Champion. Check that out. Now we got this big one here in front of us. We're gonna get it down. Guys, that's it for today. That's all the excitement I could handle in one video. Thank you so much for following our YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe if you already haven't. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram, Turner Logging LLC. Appreciate all the comments and the feedback and following. Guys, we'll catch you tomorrow probably. See ya.